So are you still an artist if you create art but never publish it? My grandfather was a secret artist. Over the holidays, I actually had some really nice chats with my grandmother, and I got her to open up a little bit about my grandfather. My grandfather passed away when I was really young, so I didn't get a chance to really get to know him well as a person and as an artist. But he was a painter and he was a poet. His paintings cover my grandmother's walls. And I always knew him to be an artist because I would go to my grandma's and see his work. And my dad has some of his paintings in his house. But what I didn't know is he never published his work. He never sold his work. He never even really showed it off. He honestly really never left my grandmother's house. And that makes me wonder so much, like, what stopped him? Did he just not see the value in it? Was he making art just for himself?
He painted quite often. I think he used it to release his emotions. What inspired him to start painting was I gave him a Christmas present one year of paints that he needed to start with and brushes. I found a painting he had done when he was very young, and I thought he would be able to paint. He never called himself an artist.
Why?
I think he didn't have enough confidence in himself.
There was comfort. There was peace. All pain and worry at once did cease. But now I know there's something more. But what it is, I'm quite unsure.
Hi, welcome. If you haven't already noticed, I'm using a very funky wide lens. This is the Laowa 12mm. I'm just testing it out because I'm on the hunt for a wider lens. The widest I have right now is a 24. And yeah, I'm just a big fan of funky shots like this. The series feels like a coffee chat because I'm currently drinking coffee and I'm on my couch and I'm spilling my thoughts that I've had recently that feel a little more personal than normal. Richard Facey, my grandfather, grew up in Kingston, Jamaica. And according to my grandma, his mother was very musically talented. She wasn't an artist per se, but she played many instruments and had a very beautiful voice. When my dad was just a kid, my grandparents made the hard decision to move their family to Canada due to the political climate at the time.
To justify and excuse violence and attempt to sort of upset and confuse people.
Everything my grandfather painted from then on was Jamaica. It was his favorite spots on the island, the vegetation. He really was just painting his home.
He only painted Jamaica because it was his first love, and he loved Jamaica.
That was maybe his way to like connect, like stay connected to Jamaica.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So according to my family, my grandfather made art for himself. He made it privately, and although he never saw it as good enough to put out into the world, he still continued to paint. It's like his imposter syndrome didn't stop him from creating the art. I wonder if he didn't choose to share it because it felt like such an intimate piece of him. Because he was painting a home he left, and because he was writing poems that were like about very deep thoughts on the world and his heart attack that he had and his experience with death, really. I wonder if it felt almost too vulnerable for him to share it with the world. If he was a very private person, sharing your art is really scary. Showing up authentically in your art is the only way I feel like you can make art that is so true to you and feels good, but it's also really, really scary to share that with the world because it's like giving away a piece of yourself. It's like opening up yourself. Recently, I've been doing a lot of reflection on when I started being creative and would I consider myself an artist and where does my art stand? I mean, I think since going freelance into videography and then starting to learn how to direct, I've definitely struggled a lot more with, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome because I still feel like I'm at the beginning of my career, but I've struggled so much with like, is this enough? Am I showing up as myself? Are these ideas good? Do they land with people? Are they authentic? It's hard sometimes when your career is to be creative, because then there's so much pressure on my ideas have to sell. And you start creating for other people. You start creating for the market and less for yourself. What is my most authentic creative voice? Because I feel like I haven't really found that yet. For a lot of us, winter is like a slow season, and January I always find I start off the year with so much momentum. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. It's going to be my best year yet. I put a lot of pressure then on myself to, okay, I need to think of an idea. I need to think of the next spec ad. I need to think of the next short documentary. I need to think of something that will propel my career. That is the worst state to be in creatively, because you will not come up with authentic and strong ideas. I mean, maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you work really well under that pressure, but I just crumble. Something that's been really a hot topic in the industry, like every single meetup I've had with other creatives, this has come up, and that is AI art. And I think it goes to show that all of us are feeling a little on edge about AI, like what's gonna happen. Some friends I've talked to are convinced it's gonna take over the entire industry and everyone's going to be using AI in 50 years to like make movies. Like everything we know today is going to be completely different. Whereas others are totally against AI. They think it's completely immoral, unethical. It's not art at all. I'm not really sure where I stand, to be honest. I think if you're using it as a tool, like you're using paintbrushes, aren't you still the artist behind the idea? Maybe creativity is a gene we inherit or a talent that's kind of passed down along the line. But it's clear to me that humans need to be creative to thrive. We need to make art to, express ourselves, to understand the world, to process things. That is so bad. Yeah. Let's see how long this lasts in my apartment. So although I never really got to know my grandfather as a person, it was really nice going back through his art and getting to know a little glimpse of him. If you're watching this and you have thoughts on how you create art, how you show up authentically in your creative processes, and your thoughts on the future of AI art, and is that considered art? I don't know. Okay, cheers.